Hello everybody and welcome to another Doctor Who review. This time from the 4th Doctor's era. Now I am doing a review of one of the later Tom Baker era stories. I'm doing a review for the Leisure Hive. Now already there is a next time trailer for Leisure Hive on the channel. If you want to have a look at it, just go up to the top right hand corner there and you'll be able to see it. But we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the story as always, and look at the television companion. And I've got the plot synopsis in front of me here. The Doctor and Romana visit the Leisure Hive on the planet Argolis, the surface of which is uninhabitable following a 20-minute nuclear war between the Argulans and their enemies, the Fomassi. The Argulans themselves are now sterile. Pangol, the youngest, was created by the Tachyon Recreation Generator, a machine that runs games in the Hive. He now secretly plans to use the generator, modified by an Earth scientist named Hardin, to recreate himself many times over, forming an army of duplicates to destroy the Fomassi. Pangol's mother, Mina, the controller of the Hive, is meanwhile coming under pressure from a supposedly human financier, Brock, to sell it to the Fomassi. Fomassi agents from their planet's government arrive and expose Brock and his assistant Clout as members of a renegade Fomassi group called the West Lodge. The Doctor then reconfigures the generator equipment using components from the randomizer device previously linked to the TARDIS's navigation circuits, and Pangol's plan is foiled as he rejuvenates into a babe in arms. Very simple plot. Fairly simple circumstances. But this is the start of a new era for Doctor Who. It's the beginning of the John Nathan Turner producership, which he would continue to do for the next 9 seasons, going through 4 Doctors in all. Tom Baker was obviously the first. This is Tom Baker's last season, and it is a fresh start. It really is a fresh start. New titles, new effects, new way of music. There's a lot of changes in here, which I'll go through the review here. But there's a couple of things I just want to go on here. First of all, the first bit is about the opening to the whole story. There's an establishing shot of a panning shot, a very long panning shot of lots of beach huts or beach tents going along Brighton Beach. Now I timed this and it was 1 minute and 41 seconds before we get the catch joke of the TARDIS and the Doctor snoring in a deck chair. Now that's probably a throwback to the humour of the previous stories and previous seasons, because it's coming from a very comedic and very Oxbridge kind of humour, which is what was there with Douglas Adams' influences in the past season, which includes the very popular and very well regarded City of Death, also includes 2 clunkers, Destiny of the Daleks and the Creature from the Pit, and of course the Horns of Nimon, but we're not going to say anything about them right this moment in time. But yeah, no, there's a few stories in that season that are a bit meh, and there's a few in this season, but a lot stronger ones. And Leisure Hive is kind of a leisurely pace. Apparently it was a stopgap, last minute. It wasn't really supposed to be going about, but it does make good use of new elements to Doctor Who, which I'll go into in a bit more detail later on. But let's go for the characters, and let's go through some of the main characters here. I've not mentioned all of them, but I've mentioned some of the main protagonists in the story. We have, of course, the Doctor, played by Tom Baker. Now, he's more restrained than the previous season. There are some comedic moments. There's still some jokes. The low-gravity squash one is one of the better examples in there. But he's a more of a brooding Doctor. It's harking back to the early Hinchcliffe era of Tom Baker, where he's a bit more calculating. There is a bit more of a humour there, and he's a bit more light-hearted, but certainly some good performances, especially when he turns into an aged Doctor through the generator, when they use the experiment to try and turn back time, and he ends up aging 500 years. And then you've got the companion, Romana, played by Lalla Ward. A decent performance. There's a couple of elements you're going, oh god, stop screaming. There's the element when she's being dragged away by the Argulans in the 4th episode and screaming, the Doctor's in there, the Doctor's in there. That's a bit grating. But the character hasn't really changed that much. Still a smart time lady. She does have her intelligent moments over the Doctor, and she is a great help to Hardin, the engineer, or the scientist that comes from Earth, and I'll go into that a little bit more detail later on. Then we got some of the guest cast. We have Pangle, who's played by the excellent David Haig and brings one of the best performances, I think, of the whole story. He goes from, kind of uncertain child-like figure to somebody more scheming, back to the more childlike figure. You can understand the scheming here. And there's two halves to Pangle. There's the half that's very sensitive and doesn't like aliens because of, obviously, he's the youngest of a race that was virtually all but wiped out, as it was quoted at one point. And then the second half, he is this scientist who's been working on the generator and plans to make multiple Pangles and create a war with the Famazi, as explained already. And that he does a good job turning that performance, and you can start to see at the end of episode 2 all the way through to the middle of episode 4 when he thinks Mina's dead, or he exceptionally makes it out that Mina is dead and works on trying to take over and run Argolis, as he's the next chairman, he's the next leader of the hive of such. But he gets a bit petulant when Mina is there. I am the one who should be leading. I'm the leader. She's dead. Leave her out of it. As he clambers to try and get her out the generator, which Hardin's just popped her in. Speaking of Mina, played by Adrienne Corey, very famous Hammer horror actress. She plays a very understated and very refined performance here. She's got all the authority of the leader of the Argolins, and then she's very good at playing the very ill Argolin. I love the makeup that's put in there to make her seem older as time goes on, and she plays a very good performance and a very powerful performance, and I did enjoy it quite a lot. A couple of other standout performances. You've got John Collin, who plays Brock, and Brock is basically the ambassador for the Earth sales, and there's an imposter Famazi that comes and dresses as him in the story, and the character is played quite a pompous civil servant type, and it works really well, and I do enjoy his performance. And then we've got the scientist Hardin, played by Michael Lambert. Very intelligent. He seems to have fallen into a kind of trap financially with Stimson, which is the guys funding his experiments, and he fakes the time reversal experiments on Earth and manages to get away working it in Argolis with the help of Romana. But there's been sabotage going on from a rogue West Lodge group, privateer group from the Famazi. And then we've got, but I like the dynamic between him and Mina. I do like the way that they work together, and I think it's a brilliant dynamic between the two of them. There's kind of caring, and they're very friendly towards each other, and they seem to be quite close. They seem to work together quite well, and that there's that kind of deep friendship there, which I like. And then we go on to the production, which I've mentioned a little bit more already, and I'll go in a bit more now. So it's definitely more polished than last season. If you look at some of the stories in last season, they really were making do. And it's noted, obviously, that some of the costume choices were a bit meh. Some of the acting choices were a bit meh. And it sounded like a series that was starting to run out of steam a little bit. But Johnny Turner comes in, he changes the title theme, he changes the title sequence, he changes the production values and makes it look more polished. Still the same budget. In fact, this one actually went over budget by a little bit. But I did enjoy the way it worked along, and I loved the music factor of it. I think that was really, really good. But I'll come back to that in a minute. But when it comes to the direction, Robert Bickford, who directed it, he did a really good job. It looks like very filmic. And you do believe that Leisure Hive, and it's a studio, but you do believe that it is actually a real place, because there's lots of low-down shots and high-up shots and a lot of intercutting, and it's very filmic in the way it works. And there's a lot of the normal 4 or 5 camera setup shots. You get a lot of that, but there's a lot more in between it. The way that he shoots the Famazi agents, the government agents for the Famazi that are coming in and trying to fix things, and then you've got the Famazi agents who they're the West Lodge ones that sabotage things all over the place, and the way they put close-ups of them, and there's a good evidence of that, and of that kind of horror feel with Stimson, the assistant to Hardin, when he gets murdered, and the way the Famazi follows him. You see the tail dragging along the floor, and then this big hand comes up and goes ah and kills him, and it's a great little setup, and the story's all right. It's basic enough. It's got 2 dimensions to it. You've got the espionage side, and you've got the pseudoscientific stuff with the tachyonics, and that can go over your head a little bit, but as long as you appreciate the fact that these things allow you to turn back time, and that's the whole premise of that part of the story, to try and give the Argulans a better life, because they are sterile at the end of the day. Into the music. Now, this is Peter Howell from the Radiophonics Workshop's first scoring. He did a lot more between now and 1985. It is one of his better efforts. There are some... out of the composers you've got Roger Limb, you've got Paddy Kingsland, you've got Peter Howell. They tend to be the three major ones throughout the early part of John Nathan Turner's era. Through the whole of Fifth Doctor, the last Fourth Doctor season, and the first Sixth Doctor season, they're the four main composers, and they all have their own styles. And Paddy Kingsland loves his guitars. Roger Limb's he's very sine wavy, he's very hard wave. But when it comes to Peter Howell, he's very he uses the orchestra. It sounds, you can see where the influences are coming from him. He loves the synths a lot more. He loves the orchestra, and I think he did a lot of music for the first couple of episodes, because especially that scene at the beginning with the panning shot. Panning shot, is it that way? I've done it. I'm just thinking cameras all the way around. I'll be doing it that way all the time. It's that way. The panning shot at the beginning, you only managed to tolerate it because of the music in the background he's putting behind it, that undertone, which is brilliant. And the whole musical score, I think, is brilliant for this one. I love the marching theme when the shuttle's coming in, and I love the marching theme at the end when Pangol's multiplying and creating different versions of himself and making copies of himself, and they're walking out the generator. And just the whole production just looks very good and works very well, and I'm really pleased that there's kind of a touch up there, and it's a great little story. But overall, it is a little staid. I will say that it is a little staid. It's a little dry at times. So it's not a massive romp. It's not something, it could maybe do with another episode missing from it. But this is a natural thing at this day. You got 4 episodes, you work it, and this is the only season where it's all 4 episodes in the whole of run of Doctor Who, and it's the season with the most episodes until the series returns in. It's the last season with the most episodes in it. Running time wise, the first couple of seasons of Doctor Who, when it came back, series Doctor Who beat it slightly, but when it comes to actually episode count, 25 minute episodes. The last time we had anything more than that was back in Patrick Troughton's era. So it's a start to a new area, and it's a good start. It's a good romp. And the season does go up and down afterwards. But I do enjoy Leisure Hive. I do like watching it again every so often, and it is one of these stories where I can watch it and sit down and take my brain out and enjoy it. But it's not. It is fun, but it's not up there the echelons of my favourite stories. It's okay, but it's not 100% brilliant. And there's a few flaws in there in regards to the way it's filmed and shot, and the way the story goes, that makes me think that it's not really a 4-star review. It's more a 3.5 TARDISes out of 5 story, and that's my review of it. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, as always. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell as well, so you know if there's any extra Who videos. There might very well be one this week, I don't know. I'm recording this so far in advance. There might be a new Doctor Who news coming out when this one does. If not, then the next video will be an Odd Week video, and that comes out next Sunday at 4 PM GMT, and it's a Kidstructor with my friend Jamie, who did the review for Power of the Daleks last time round. And I think you will enjoy it, because I certainly enjoyed watching this one. In fact, it makes me smile even thinking about it. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time. See you later.